नीचे है ना, नीचे। हाँ ये इसके ऊपर डाल दो, बाहर दरवाजा खोल के डाल दो। वीरधमोहिवो is an this is the one Surim number of which number is pitch. Kai Tikshu, each Australia,
Canada.
which I was with us.
Tell my house.
Amravati.
Why is this up?
Talk me दी शायद वो छोड़ चुकी है विलियमसन फोटो ही है
इसमें तो नहीं आएगा ना
फोटो मोबाइल में दी ना तो शक्ल है इवनिंग चैंटिंग पेज 14 हिंदी बुक यो सो भगवा अरहं सम्मा सम्बुद्धो स्वाखातो येन भगवता धम्मो सुपटिपन्नो यस्य भगवतो सावक संगो तमयं भगवन्तं सधम्मं ससङ्गम् इमे सकारी यथा अर्हम् आरोपिते अभिपूजयाम साधुनो भन्ते भगवा सुचिरपरिनिपुतोऽपि पश्चिमा जनता नुकम्पमानसा इमे सकारी दुर्गतपणाकारभूते पटिगणातु अम्हाकं विरतं हिताय सुखाय अरहं सम्मा सम्बुद्धो भगवा बुद्धं भगवन्तम् अभिवादि स्वाखातो भगवता धम्मो धम्मं नमस्सामि सुपटिपन्नो भगवतो सावक संघो संघं नमः हन्दमयं बुद्धस्य भगवतो पुब्बभागनमकारं करोमसि नमो तस्य भगवतो अरहतो सम्मा सम्बुद्धस्य नमो तस्य भगवतो अरहतो सम्मा सम्बुद्धस्य नमो तस्य भगवतो अरहतो सम्मा सम्बुद्धस्य हन्दमयं बुद्धानुसतिनयं करोमसि तं खूपन भगवन्तम् एवं कल्याणो इति सद्दो अभुगतो इति पिसो भगवा अरहं सम्मा सम्बुद्धो विद्याचरण संपन्नो सुगतो लोकविदु अनुत्तरो पुरुषदम्म रथि सत्था देव मनुस्सान् बुद्धो भगवाति हन्मयं बुद्धाभिगीतिं करोमसे बुद्धवारहन्तवरदिगुणाभियुतो शुद्धा विज्ञानकरुणा हि समागततो बोधेसियो सुजनतं कमलं वसुरो वन्दामहं तमरणं शिरसा जिनेन्दम् बुद्धो यो सर्वपाणिनं शरणं खेममुत्तमं पठमानुसति प्रतिष्ठानं वन्दामि तं शिरेनहम् बुद्धस्सास्मि दासीव बुद्धो मे सामिकिस्सरो बुद्धस्सहं नियादीमि शरीरं जीवितं चिदं वन्दन्तीहं चरिष्यामि बुद्धस्यैव सुबोधितं नत्थि मे शरणम् अन्यः बुद्धो मे शरणं वरम् एतेन सत्यवज्रेण वड्ढेयं स तु शासने बुद्धं मे वन्दमानाय यं पुण्यं प्रसुतम् इद सर्वेऽपि अन्तराया मे मा एतुं तस्य तेजसा हन्दमयं धम्मानुसतिनयं करोमसि स्वाकातो भगवता धम्मो सन्दिट्ठिको अकालिको एहि पस्सिको ओपनयिको पच्यतं वेदितव्यो विन्योहीति हन्दमयं धम्माभिगीतिं करोमसे स्वाखाततादिगुणयोगवसेन वेयो यो मग्गपाकपर्यतिविमोखभेदो धम्मोऽखिलोकपतना तदधारी वन्दामहं तमहरं वरधम्ममेतं धम्मो यो सर्वपाणिनं शरणं क्षेममुत्तमम् द्वितीयानुसतिष्ठानं वन्दामि तं शिरेनहम् धम्मस्सास्मिदासीव धम्मो मे सामिकिस्सरो धम्मस्सहं नियादीमि शरीरं जीवितं चिदं वन्दन्तीहं चरिष्यामि धम्मस्यैव सुतं मतं नत्थि मे शरणम् अन्यः धम्मो मे शरणं वरम् एतेन सज्जवज्रेण वड्ढेयं स तु शासने धम्मं मे वन्दमानाय यं पुण्यं प्रसुतम् इद सर्वेऽपि अन्तरायामि माहेषुं तस्य तेजसा हन्दमयं सङ्घानुसतिनयं करोमसे सुपटिपन्नो भगवतो सावकसङ्घो उजुपटिपन्नो भगवतो सावकसङ्घो न्यायपटिपन्नो भगवतो सावकसङ्घो सामीचिपटिपन्नो भगवतो सावकसङ्घो यदिदं चत्तारि पुरुषयुगानि अष्टपुरुषपुङ्गला एष भगवतो सावकसङ्घो आहुनेयो पाहुनेयो दक्षिणेयो अंजलि करणीयो अनुत्तरं पुण्यकेतं लोकसाति। हन्दमयं संघादिगीतिं करोमसे सधम्मजो सुपटिपतिगुणादियुतो यो अट्ठविधो अरियपुग्गसङ्गसेठो शीलादिधम्मपवरा सयकाय चेत्तो वन्दामहं तमरियागणं सुशुद्धं सङ्गो यो सर्वपाणिनं शरणं खेममुत्तमं ततीयानुसतिष्ठानं वन्दामि तं शिरेणहम् सङ्घस्सास्मिदा शिवा सङ्गोमि सामिकेश्वरो सङ्घसहं नियादेमि शरीरं जीवितं चिदं वन्दन्तीहं चरिष्यामि सङ्घस्सोपटिपन्नतं नास्ति मे शरणम् अन्यं सङ्घो मे शरणं वरम् एतेन सज्जवज्जेन वड्ढेयं स तु शासने सङ्घं मे वन्दमानाय यं पुण्यं पशुतम् इद सभ्येऽपि अन्तरायामि माहेषु तस्य तेजसा पेज 41 बार बार अनुस्मरणीय 5 विषय। हन्दमयम् अभिन्नः पंचवीखन पाठम भणामसे। आए हम बार बार विवेचन योग्य पाठ करें। जरा धम्मोमि मैं जरा धर्मा हूँ, मैंने जरा को पराजित नहीं किया है। व्याधि धम्मोमि व्याधि अनतीतो मैं व्याधि धर्मा हूँ, मैंने व्याधि को पराजित नहीं किया है। मरण धम्मोमि मरणम अनतीतो मैं मरण धर्मा हूँ, मैंने मृत्यु को पराजित नहीं किया है। सब्बे हि मे पियेहि मनापेहि नाना भावो बिना भावो सभी मेरे प्रिय मुझे प्रसन्नता देने वाले मुझसे दूर हो जाएंगे, बिछुड़ जाएंगे। कम्मस्य कोमि कम्म दायादो कम्म योनि कम्म बंधु कम्म पटि शरणो यम कम्मं करिष्यामि कल्याणं वा पापकं वा तस्य दायादो भविष्यामि। मैं अपने कर्मों का स्वामी हूँ, कर्मों का उत्तराधिकारी हूँ। कर्म ही मेरी योनि है, कर्म ही मेरा बंधु है, कर्म ही मेरी शरण है। मैं जो भी कर्म करूँगा, कल्याणकारी या पापकारी, उसका उत्तराधिकारी बनूंगा। एवं अम्नेहि अभिन्नहं पंचवीखितव्यम। इस प्रकार हमें बार बार विवेचन करना चाहिए।
We'll now listen to a discourse by Lumpur Viradhammo, who is a very senior monk of Ajahn Chah tradition. Was ordained in the first batch of monks to be ordained by Ajahn Chah himself in 1974. Presently he is the abbot of Tisarna Monastery in Canada.
Good evening. Nice to be here. It's a rather delightful surprise for me because I expected the Theosophical Society to be a kind of dowdy old building in the middle of Chicago from the 1920s, and I find this beautiful sanctuary and quite a vibrant community of people and lots of good programs. So I'm very much delightfully surprised, and I haven't seen John for 25 years, so that's really nice to see him doing well. And so I'm grateful for your invitation. I was going to change my mind about how I wanted to approach this talk because I saw the picture of a young Krishnamurti downstairs. It's in 1926, and his writings were very influential to me when I was in India. When I was as a child, infrequently, once every 6 months or once a year, I'd wake up in the mornings to a different way of perceiving life, which was deeply silent and deeply compassionate. And I had no real way of, this is memory as a child, I don't quite know what was going on then, but the way it affected me was that I didn't know how to relate those profound morning awakenings to ordinary life, and I never really talked about it because that kind of discourse wasn't, I guess, available to me and my family, or at least that's what I remember. It's kind of many years ago. But what happened is it created a kind of very uncomfortable discontent throughout my life, not throughout my life, until I kind of got into meditation. But what happened to me is that awakening was so perfect and so perfect that I had this deep yearning to come back home or to realize that again, but I had no idea what to do with that. So I would get absorbed into the things that a child gets absorbed into, or an adolescent gets absorbed into, or a hippie gets absorbed into. And we won't talk about that. But anyway, all of those different avenues and things always kind of reached a point of, this isn't it. But it was never, there was no real positive, this is it. It was just that this isn't it. So it was quite a struggling kind of existence in that existential way. This isn't it, this isn't it. So I would get absorbed into things, and this might be it, and this isn't it, this might be it, this isn't it. And so, and then every now and then there'd be the occasion of that. It always happened when I woke up in the mornings, and I could never repeat it willfully or deliberately. So then I had the same feelings in university. I went to University of Toronto, and again, this isn't it. And much to my parents' chagrin, I left, dropped out of university, and I just started to travel. I had longer hair, as you probably did too in those days. And I ended up in India, and I lived in India a year and a half. And during the early period of that profound time, it was a profound time in India, that in a pivotal time in my life, I came across a book by Krishnamurti. And reading that book, I came to a conscious presence of that same way of awakening that I had as a child. And that was the first time that it was sort of a mature and conscious entering into that possibility. And it was, it was like a whole day, so it was very, very profound. So finally, I had a lot of despair and searching and a lot of dead ends and mistakes and so on. There it was. And then the next day arrived, and it was gone again. So I read the book furiously, but you know how it is. It doesn't work that way. And then I had a more mature sense. Okay, I need some. Then I understood. Well, awareness. It's about awareness. Awakening is about awareness. And I realized that I didn't have a very disciplined lifestyle. So fortunately, about a month after that, I met an American who was a bhikkhu, a monk, and I got very inspired with monasticism, because I could see, well, monasticism would be a way of living a good life, but the focus of the life wouldn't be some material benefit or material success. It would be to be mindful and to be aware within this form, within this monastic form. And it struck me very powerfully. And I was surprised. I thought, if you would have told me a year before that I'm going to be a monk, I said, you're crazy. I want to have a good time. But I wasn't having a good time. So, and then I went to Thailand and so on, and I found that Ajahn Chah taught in a particular way, which was always encouraging the awakening of the mind. So coming here to the Theosophical Society and seeing the picture of Krishnamurti sort of brought that forward to me, that I could reflect upon that. We, as humans, we have this kind of paradoxical consciousness where we are both actors on a stage, and we're also in the audience. We have both those possibilities, don't we? Like I live in a world of responsibilities and relationships and an aging body with memories of time. I have a passport. I have to go through American immigration and Canadian immigration. And so I act in the world as we all do. But also, I can witness or be aware of my very acting. I can observe if I feel anxious in front of the immigration officer, or I feel annoyed that, because I came through Chicago a month ago, I have a very sad relationship with O'Hare Airport. I took this is recorded so I won't mention the airline, but I took a particular airline from Ottawa to Chicago, from Chicago to San Francisco. And in the airport, I had a delay of 8 hours, and on and back and forth on the plane and so on. So I had a chance to both participate and be the actor in this O'Hare Airport melodrama, but also I had the opportunity to witness and be aware of my annoyance or my tiredness or the humor that was around me, and so on. So we have this paradoxical consciousness, don't we? You know, I can both, and I have to live both realities. I have to both live and act in the world in a way which is both helpful to myself and others, or life is totally confused. But also I need to employ that reflective capacity, that capacity to not only feel my emotional world or remember things, but to notice, oh, the emotional world is manifesting in this way, memories are this way, perceptions are this way. And that part is really what I've used as a contemplative in my spiritual life, and I think that's the only thing you can use, it seems to me, is the mind which knows the way things are in a way where I'm not just always absorbed by the drama on the stage. So if I'm always absorbed in the drama on the stage, I'm always taken by time, by objects, by my own personality. I'm kind of absorbed into it. And as long as I'm absorbed in the drama, I'm not available to something which I think is more profound and more deeply meaningful. And that's the silence and deep compassion of the heart, which, to be realized, to be awoken to, let us say, one needs to be available. So if I'm constantly preoccupied with my own neuroses or my own hobbies or my own passions, and that's a kind of going out, isn't it? That's a going out into conscious experience. But I need to do that. I need to do that well, in fact, or the world of responsibilities and social relationships becomes overwhelming. And so the way I've learned Buddhism is that this teaching points to both of those, points to both the social life that I engage in and how to try to do that skillfully, and then that inner life of awakening to the processes of consciousness, and finding and discovering and awakening to that which is not just dependent on the processes of consciousness, which is something much more stable and peaceful and deeply compassionate. So in the training that I have undertaken and the kind of vocation that I live by, I have a very helpful structure, routine in the monastery. I live by quite a lot of different precepts and protocols because I live communal life. There's a lot of emphasis on speech which is gentle, speech which is harmonious, speech which is truthful. There's a lot of emphasis on simplicity of living, obviously not killing, not taking drugs as change consciousness, and so on. And those structures, those social structures, for me are not the goal, they're the method. So say, one of the paradoxes, I think, in my own life, if I go back to my inspiration from Krishnamurti, is that, you know, if you reading Krishnamurti, he was a bit of an iconoclast, and traditional religion, he could be quite cutting about it. So it's kind of a paradox. Here's this guy that gets inspired by Krishnamurti, and then he goes off and becomes a monk. Doesn't quite compute. But actually what I found was that if I became a monk as an identity, I am a monk, as a kind of ego identity, then yes, that would be not honoring what Krishnamurti was pointing to. But not having a social framework and not having a stable foundation of living, that would also be just very confusing, very, very confusing. So I found it's this kind of interesting combination. And my teacher, Ajahn Chah, was very skillful at that, and subsequent teachers, very skillful at pointing out that this living of a good life, the living of a moral life, the living of compassionate existence, the living of a caring and a giving life is the method, but not the goal. So in Buddhism, we might say that compassion is the method, forgiveness is the method, generosity is the method, nonviolence is the method. And why is it the method? Because those aspects of our social life are ones which are very freeing Because if you think about generosity, if it was the goal itself, if that's the goal that I should be generous all the time, then what do I do when I'm feeling mean-spirited? I feel guilty. And I'm terrible for having that. But if I make that the practice or the foundation or the doing of this life of awareness, then when my mind runs along avenues of meanness and holding and not being generous, I see that very much is always an engagement with all the changing phenomena of life. And that very engagement of meanness makes me unavailable to the transcendent. Whereas generosity, when I have more space, when I can give more, when I can offer more, I'm available. I'm available not just for service and so on, but also my mind has a certain sense of not needing, a certain sense of not needing to engage or get or compete and all that. And that lack of neediness, as it were, creates a mind which is available to something more profound. But if I made generosity and compassion the goal, then what I would end up, what would I do when I feel angry? What would I do when I felt just like bloody-minded? Actually, I'm not interested in you today. Leave me alone. I feel very guilty about that. But if I see, well, that's just part of the drama, that's part of the stage, not to attach to that, but also not to make it a problem. To see that this witnessing or awareness or reflective consciousness can handle that. I can feel fearful, mean-spirited, angry, but it's not a foundation for happiness. So it's not something I pursue, but I don't deny its existence either. And that was a very difficult insight for me to understand, because my tendency is to be very idealistic, and then from that attachment to idealism, very self-critical, and it wouldn't take much for me to really get on myself. My teacher, one of my teachers, Ajahn Sumedho, the senior disciple of Ajahn Chah, he would say, no, I don't have to criticize you, you just go for your own jugular all the time. So, that just to accept the fact that this is in the nature of things is the teaching on, is the reflective teaching, and in the reflective part of my kind of Buddhist contemplative life, we have, like the way I look at the Buddhist path is, one is the social reality. That's the reality where I try to develop these good qualities as a foundation. But then the other, the reflective, is more like watching stream of consciousness. So, let's say I'm in O'Hare Airport, and it's been 6 hours, 7 hours, and I don't carry any money, so I don't have any money. So after 6 hours, and I walk by the pizza stand, I think, it would be nice. But no way, there's no money. So that's the drama that I'm living through, right? But then, if I look at it as flow of consciousness, right, and that way I can say, oh, this is a feeling, this is attraction, this is repulsion, this is an emotion. So I can look at life that way. I still need to get onto the plane eventually. I can't just kind of watch stream of consciousness and then just sit in O'Hare Airport the rest of my life. So there's the practical reality. But there's also this other way, isn't there? There is this other way of observing consciousness in a less personal way. And so some of the Buddhist teachings are trying to encourage us to say, well, like a very good book that Ajahn Sumedho has put out, which is Don't Take Your Life Personally. It's a brilliant title. It's a brilliant title. And you can see that, I have to take my passport personally. I can't take your passport. And if I lose my passport, I'll be in Chicago for a long, long time. Maybe. I have to take it personally, but I can also look at anxiety, happiness, like, dislike, pleasant, unpleasant, as stream of consciousness events. I can observe that. And that second part is facilitated if the first part is clear. A person who is like living a very confused or inebriated or unfaithful lifestyle, their minds are just confused with those issues. But a person who lives a life of good faith, of good works, all those beautiful things, they have a kind of stability. They have a stability within which the second way, the reflective, contemplative part of our life can be employed, can be. It's a very interesting thing, actually, to be able to reflect on your own neuroses. It's a very interesting thing to look at how one's personality arises and ceases. Personality is interesting, isn't it? You know, when I see my personality operating, don't you always think, who is that guy? It pops, and reacts to something. So it's interesting. It's personality, but also the knowing of personality. There's the awareness of personality. And so the teachings that I have received from my teachers are very much encouraging this constant inner vigilance. Not inner analysis in some kind of narcissistic way, where I was just thinking about myself, me, but more like just observing, actually taking out the me, and observing the stream of emotions and thoughts and ideas. And what we try to emphasize there is not the quality of the experience, but the observation of the change of experience. Now that's interesting. If you, like in a social life, I have to observe the quality of the experience just to make sure I get fed and shovel the snow, and I have to look at the quality of the experience. I have to deal with it. But when if that's the only thing I have, and I only emphasize the quality of the experience, then of course my mind is always very much caught up in pleasure and pain. I like the pleasant and I want to get rid of the unpleasant, which is natural, there's nothing wrong with that. But if that's the only option I have, the only option I have is always the objects of conscious experience, the sights, the sounds, the tastes, the emotions, the mental structures. If that's the only thing I have, then my mind is always preoccupied with this changing stuff. And what I don't tend to notice, or I don't emphasize, is the awareness itself. So I emphasize the objects, and desire does that, doesn't it? Desire emphasizes the objects. Get this one, get rid of that one. Like that, don't like that. We store it in memory. And there's nothing wrong with it. If you offer me a coffee, I'll take milk, thank you. Right? Don't like it black. So that's in the nature of things. But if that's the only thing, and it's very sad if I think that's the only thing, then my mind is continually trying to get it right. Kind of like as Ajahn Sucitto says, rearranging the deck chairs on a Titanic. You just never quite get it right, and the ship sinks, you die. But if I also, say, in the contemplative life, look and I observe, and this is the Buddha's recommendation, observe the changing nature of consciousness, of the phenomena of consciousness through the perception of change. And that's different. That's different, because then what you have to do is you have to take your attention away from any particular experience and abide as awareness of the changing nature of experience. And what happens there when you do that, and this is a practice, it's not a belief. Like in Buddhism, we talk about change. Well, everyone knows, winter is coming. It doesn't take a Buddha to tell you that. And then you need to put snow tires on here? And we haven't by law put snow tires. Anyway, that you need to get your shovel out, and everyone knows the seasons will change. So, big deal. It doesn't take a Buddha to figure that out. But actually, to sustain the perception of change takes a very kind of accurate mind. You have to really stay with the moment. So let's say if I'm feeling so I'm sitting in, we'll do the airplane, we'll do Chicago Airport. They load us onto the plane after I've waited 2.5 hours, then another 2 hours for lateness. They load us onto the plane. We get onto the plane, it's hot and stuffy, and the stewardess announces, we don't have a pilot. Okay. This is interesting. You got us all on board, no pilot. And we can't get the air conditioning going. And then she says finally, and we have no idea what's going on. Very reassuring. Okay, so I'm observing that, and it's getting hot, and people around there everyone was actually quite good humored, and the humor was great, but people are getting uptight. Now, I can feel whatever that affects me. I can feel irritated or hot or annoyed or whatever, but to actually hold the perception of change as this event is taking place, that's not so very easy. I have to be mindful. I have to be present. I have to remember to take that perspective. But what if I do that? If I do that, I notice that, say that I'm feeling maybe agitated or not, or humorous, and I hold the perception of change, and what I emphasize is the knowing of the experience rather than the quality of the experience. And this is very important, because if I emphasize the knowing of the experience, I begin to come to that which is the gateway to the transcendent, I should think, which is the gateway to that deep openness and silence of the heart. But if I emphasize the objects of my conscious experience and only do that, then I'm kind of looking in the wrong place. I'm looking in the wrong place, because the objects of experience are very contingent, right? Very much depend on all kinds of other factors, and even though I get all the kind of ducks in a row and it feels good for a while, changes very, very quickly. And so obviously it changes very quickly, but is there an alternative? If there was no alternative, then I think just definitely maximize your pleasure and minimize your pain, right? Because that's the only thing you have. Eat, drink, and be merry, because it's going to be over soon. But there is more than that. There is more than just sense pleasure and sense displeasure. There is the awareness of that. And that awareness we don't tend to notice, or we don't usually, unless you're contemplative, cast awareness on awareness. And we don't usually. So like even as meditators, usually trying to get peaceful. And we don't notice, that peacefulness is a condition that comes and goes, and non-peacefulness is a condition that comes and goes. But when we cultivate the perception of change, and this is a practice. It's not like a belief. You can be a card-carrying Buddhist and say that things change, but still suffer, and not really understand it. So it's not a belief, but it's actually a perception that you have to bring out. Like maybe you give me some food, and you'll ask me, is it salty? Is there enough salt? And I can have the perception of salty, can't I? I can notice, oh yes, salty, salty. In the same way, my mind can perceive change. But what I have to do, I have to let go of the fascination, or I have to let go of trying to find something and notice what is. Right? I have to let go of trying to find some particular thing and notice what is. And when I notice what is, then I awaken to the way things are. And as I awaken to the way things are, I notice the pull of all that, how discomfort pulls me towards comfort, how disappointment pulls me towards anger, how like I used to be really afraid of giving talks. I was like very afraid. I mean, I would panic and like go to the toilet 100 times or have to give one of these talks. Now it's just great fun. But to witness that as change is very difficult, isn't it? Because like it's okay to witness, like you're by the St. Lawrence River and you're just watching and listening to the changing sounds and abiding as a kind of witness of change. Very peaceful, very nice. But then try to apply that to some of like the difficult bits of our lives, the emotional negativity we experience, the disappointments in human relationships, the pain we experience with loss, the frustration we feel with people who are brutal or assertive or aggressive. These are very, very hard things to take on. And so the training that we get as monastics is that one of the things that Luang Por Chah would tell us a lot was you have to develop a lot of endurance. But not in, like, and he would say, not the endurance of a water buffalo, with lots of water buffaloes around. He said, water buffaloes can endure a lot, but it's the endurance of a contemplative. So what happens if I, say, if I feel, let's say, okay, I'm living in a monastery, and I trust someone, and they do something to really disappoint me in a way which was not just a vague perception of mine, but they really broke their word, right? And I really trusted them. And that's very painful. very painful. It hurts, doesn't it? It hurts you, right? And to actually feel hurt and socially be responsible, to say, call them on that, fine. But to stay with the hurt, and to stay with the hurt, and to stay with the hurt until it ceases is very difficult. What we quickly do is, of course, run into blame. Why? Because we don't want the hurt. It's too painful to sit with that and bear that. And it's much more pleasant to hate someone and to feel the pain of that. I'm not talking about some kind of abject passivity where you can't say to the person, that's wrong. Just, you can't do that. You're fired. That's fine. That's the social realm. But that inner realm, you could see how the capacity to witness change in something painful takes a lot of patience. Takes a lot of patience. Takes a lot of training. And usually we don't, none of us get there right from the start. We blow it. We yell at someone or we do stuff. But we realize, oh, wait a minute. I'm caught again. I'm caught in the conditions of phenomena. And we begin to see the way out is forgiveness and compassion, not because I just want to be a goody good person and I'm never angry. No. More profoundly, forgiveness and compassion release that attachment to negative emotions and make you available again to the transcendent. So it's a logical conclusion you come to, not just a idealized sense of what a goody good Buddhist is. All monks should always be nice. We should love everyone. We should never be angry, which is a horrible way to live. But just to realize that to hold resentments, to hold disappointments, and so on, makes me unavailable. I'm preoccupied. So there comes a kind of insight from that how can I liberate my attention from this constant preoccupation with thought, constant preoccupation with emotional stuff and distractions? How can I be free from that? And the way to do that is to train the mind in meditation, but also to begin to perceive change. So let's say I feel some displeasure. If I feel like disappointment or displeasure, what my desire mind wants, right? It wants a replacement. It wants some kind of compensation. Okay, give me an ice cream. We have a friend in the monastery, not in the monastery, she's a friend of the monastery. She has a lot of kind of stuff that she works with, and she says one of the ways she compensates for that is by eating. So she feels down and go to the fridge. And of course, it's not good for her waistline. It's also not good for her mind because she's not processing this stuff. So one day she said she pasted onto her fridge, "It's not in here," which is brilliant suggestion. So then to be with that, to be with like something disappointing, be socially responsible, but to be with something disappointing and witness it as change, what does it do? It lessens the desire for compensations. It lessens the need to go away from present moment awareness into a pleasant reality. And because that's lessened, what that strengthens is this sense of the awareness is my real home. And it can handle anything. It can be with anything. And it's that, it becomes like a change of, like initially the kind of default mechanism that we all have is to run away from pain and move to pleasure. It's natural. But after a while we see, yeah, that's useful at times. If I'm freezing cold, I better put a coat on. And if I'm starving, I better get some food in me. Sure, that's useful sometimes, but as a constant strategy, it's very, very restless. And I come to that insight, that maturity, that if I forego short-term seeking of pleasure, I could realize long-term release from pain. And that's a very mature reflection, isn't it? And if I bear witness to this unpleasantness and pain now as change, if I can have the oomph to do that, if I can have the fortitude to do that, it has to be done with wisdom, and the patience to do that, then the need to go anywhere else will cease, and the patterning of that tendency to react, to disappoint with anger, say, as example, the patterning will change too. And what will that do? That will free awareness. And I begin to see, awareness is my real refuge. Awareness of change is my real refuge. The conditions are unreliable. They're not bad. It's not bad. It's not bad to feel anger. It's just anger. but certainly it's not a place to hang out in. But also to think that life can always be pleasurable, and that's not a place to hang out either. So more and more one comes to the to the feeling that, oh, great, thank you. You have more and more gratitude for the good times. But then when the other comes, you say, yeah, it's supposed to be this way. It's supposed to change. All that is unreliable. And that sense of abiding in the perception of change begins to open the mind to this awakening to silence, awakening to the transcendent. And I think the Nonpa certainly, like, I'm sure you remember, I would go to our teacher and I'd say, oh man, I'm a basket case and I can't meditate, and your stomach upset and it's too hot and the mosquitoes are biting me, and I thought he'd give me some really kind of esoteric, deeply insightful instruction where I can get through this. He says, you have to endure. That was it. I said, this is the master. But he was right, because I didn't have the equipment to deal with the unpleasant and so on. Now, you could take that to the extreme and get into self-mortification and hurting yourself, but that wasn't the point of it. So this is a situation, and we're not forcing to be here. You can leave any time. It's quite benign. It's just uncomfortable. Oh, okay. So then I had to just develop like patience with heat, patience, like lonely. I remember once, because I didn't speak Thai, and sometimes there was a translator, sometimes not. And I remember being in the hall when Ajahn Chah was giving a very long talk, and towards the end of the first, and so my concentration went after about 15 minutes, and he went on for about an hour and a half. Sitting on a concrete floor, no cushions, nothing soft, and so my legs are hurting, my bottom is hurting, and I don't understand anything that's going on. The mosquitoes are biting, so it's a lot of negativity. And I was thinking, oh, be quiet, will you? That's the mind, just thinking, I want to get out of here. I want to meditate. And then he started to crack jokes. I felt, and everyone was laughing, but I didn't know what they were about. I felt so lonely. I felt so homesick. And he would say, what ton? Endure. Now that sounds kind of cruel, but no one was doing to me. But that was really formative, because to be with like a benign situation, but emotionally very dry, shall we say, very difficult, was quite important to be able to, well, even this will change. So he kept emphasizing the perception of change. It is uncertain. And my mind, oh God, I can't take this, I can't do this anymore, I want to get out. No, this will change. And so through that kind of work, and that is work, isn't it? That is work. Through that kind of work and applying the mind with patience to that which is seemingly unbearable, the strength, you build a foundation and a kind of reserve which clicks into things so that awareness doesn't get overwhelmed. It's like now I took care of my mom for a long time in Ottawa, and I don't have much physical work at the monastery because I'm usually too involved with teaching and administrative things, so my upper body is quite pathetic. I don't think I could do 2 push-ups anymore. And what that does, it creates a danger that if I have to grab something heavy, I'm not going to be able to hold it, right? So if I had some upper body strength, it probably, it's going to be healthy for me. And it's the same thing with the mind. When I develop the capacity to be aware of something difficult, but not cruel or life-threatening or wrong, not immoral, just life's inevitable difficulties, right? If I develop a capacity just to be with this, then it's like developing upper body strength, but strength of the heart, where then when life really comes at me in a way which, okay, I have to deal with this, I've got these reserves of patience, of generosity, of good memories, a mind which is free from remorse, and so on and so forth. And they help me go through life's travails, go through the ups and downs of life. And more importantly, the life's difficulties don't preoccupy me, and more I come back to the center, to my real home, and that possibility becomes realized, becomes more and more realized, of deep silence, of deep compassion, not because I've willfully sought it as an object by getting rid of other things, no, because I've now allowed patience to operate, not attached to these things, perceive change, emphasize the knowing. Desire emphasizes the objects, the qualities of the objects, and the perception of change emphasizes the center of knowing, the center of stillness. And to get that means that the world no longer compels us so strongly anymore, because we become more interested, at least for me, it's my spiritual journey, that's what I'm really interested in, because I know that is where something more profound is possible. And then the other, I still, if John took me to a nice restaurant and got me a cinnamon bun, that's fine, it's not like you have to sleep on steel spikes or things like that. It's not a dismissal of beauty or joy, it's just seeing its limits. And you can be grateful for the beautiful things of life, but your real home, begin to see, awareness of change, which is a perception you have to keep bringing up. Okay, so there's some ideas on awakening. If anyone has any questions or comments. Pain, so she's just, get me out of here, whatever kind of feeling. And then she saw that the monastery was doing quite well, and she says, maybe that's why I had to hang on, to get the monastery going. So that's a nice perception of the place. Any others? Yes.
In daily activities, when we play both roles of witnessing and also participating, like you said, patience is the practice we go through. But in that process of practicing patience, our mind comes in and say, you are being too patient, get involved and act. And while witnessing saying is, be patient. So there is even witnessing allows the part of me participate while witnessing, or turn to patience and not do anything. So there is a tendency of being over patience, a tendency of being over participating in the melodrama. How do we play the balance of not over patient or not over involved in the melodrama? Thank you.
Yeah, good question. Well, for me, I'm very lucky because I have quite a defined lifestyle. So in my defined lifestyle, I'm a senior monk and I have responsibilities, and I have quite a crisp definition, social definition, in terms of the rules that we live by. And that gives really good boundaries for reflection of what I have to do responsibly, what I can't do. And then also my job description kind of defines things for me. So I use that arena as my place of activity, my place of expression, my place of using my hands, and my place of craft, and my place of the heart, right? And that's the game I play. And within that, I try to notice a patterning of my own mind. So like with responsibility, I use responsibility, and that's a very active thing, but I try to use that contemplative mind to see where, with say responsibility, am I passive out of fear? Where in my responsibility am I active out of aversion? So it's like admonishing, right? As a senior monk, one is asked to train junior monks, so that's why they come there. And certainly I can be critical from annoyance, and I can be passive from fear. So I try to look at the roots of my fear. I try to look at my passivity or my inactivity, or I try to look at the roots of my activity. So let's say I'm getting kind of into some project, and I'm getting obsessed with some, like I'm trying to do some furniture making right now, making a Murphy bed, great fun. So I get, obsessed with that, and I don't meditate. Right? Okay, why am I being active? Well, the monastery needs a Murphy bed, sure, right, give me a break, you just want to meditate. So if you look at the roots of passivity and activity, then it's not a position for or against, it's seeing, like let's say just wanting people to like me. So, in the past I backed off on admonishing because I want people to like me, but the result's not good for me, for him and me, or it's just the situation. So I found that the more I can listen to that part of my mind and kind of get the ego out of the way, then I find more and more there is a spontaneity which is wholesome, but not impulsivity, which is just the craft of living a good life. And because we do a lot of sitting meditation, so we meditate from 5 to 6:30 every morning, and then we have an evening meditation for an hour and a half, and then we also have retreats, and I meditate my kuti too. That part of my life, which is very much just stopping, gives me a good mirror to show me what have you been doing in the day. How is your activity or inactivity actually? What's that producing in your own mind? So there's a kind of constant, not intellectual evaluation, more like instinctive evaluation of how I'm doing in that social situation. So I have very good social situation for that kind of reflective. If I was in a very competitive situation, and there's a lot of backstabbing, and I might lose my job, and there's a lot of layoffs, boy, that'd be tough. That'd be really, really tough. So, that's why I became a monk. The pay's not great, but no, that's all right. Anything else?
Thanks. I had a question about the awareness of change. Now, I know a lot of times inner dialogue is something that I want to settle down, but if there is an inner dialogue during an awareness of change, I'm wondering what it would be like. Like, would it be like a hip pain is arising, it's increasing, it's decreasing, oh, it's gone?
I do it before conceptualization. So I drop the inner dialogue. So, because I'm more interested not in the description, because the description is still an object. I'm more interested in the awareness. So if I'm always conceptualizing the phenomena that are taking place, then I'm still absorbed into an object, which is thought. But if I have a much more receptive attitude, so I receive the feeling in the hip, and then I watch should I move, should I not move, as a feeling, how much more time as a feeling, then that takes me more to the knowing of change. Whereas if I engage with it with conceptualization, it's just me analyzing it and all the pattern that comes from that. Not to dismiss the need for conceptualization, otherwise it'd be a moron of some sort, right? But to see that it's very, overdone for me, all the thinking mind. So to come to the silence of being aware of change is a very present, it's like if you listen to sound right now, and you perceive the changing nature of sound, to perceive the changing nature of sound, you have to be silent. If I'm making comment, is that a fan? It's probably a fan, yeah. Why do they have a fan here anyway? Yeah, I'm not perceiving change. I'm just a self making comments about change. So I like to use, to train in that. I like to use body awareness a lot. I like to use sound a lot. Sound, I find very, very effective. I found, because sound is listening is a receptive quality, and desire is a very grabbing kind of energy in me. So when I come to just listening and being receptive, then that sense of being availability to change is very, very easy, very easy. Bodily feeling I find very, very interesting to witness to the body as a changing phenomena of sensations rather than as a lump defined by concepts. My knee, so like saying body awareness, what I do is I try to take like a whole body awareness and get a feeling of the body as a massive change. Get out of the head of trying to see the knee, see that, conceptualize it, and actually see the body as a vibratory thing. That really takes, that's very helpful for that knowing of change. Yeah? So I think disengaging from a lot of that thinking is quite important for me, because that's very moment. It's very hard to do because we're so addicted to thought. And so then the struggle becomes one of not getting rid of thought, but also not buying into thought. And that's hard, because if you're meditating and the mind starts to babble on, you say, oh, shut up. When you meditate more fiercely, and it doesn't work, because it's all willpower. So to actually have the subtlety to perceive the end of a thought. What's the end of a thought feel like? Before I jump to the next thought. Brings you to the silence of the mind. And then to take like sound and say, and within that, what's the sound like? But not to put commentary into it. You can ask, as soon as I ask a question like, what's the sound like, and you describe it, that's not the point of it. It's just to bring you to pure attention and so on. Then if like, for me, if thought is obsessive, then I try to get to the root of the obsession. I try to get to the root of it physically. So let's say I'm obsessed about worrying about the finances of a monastery. The abbots do this all the time, right? Who's going to pay the bills and so on, right? And so that maybe, not recently, but if that starts to obsess the mind, then that's driven by some emotion, and that emotion has a physical correlate. So if I do whole body awareness and I identify, oh yeah, this worry, so I have enough analysis that worry feels this way, but then I open myself to a kind of receptive, allowing, okay, so what does it really feel like to worry? I make fully conscious the feeling of worry, and I go to perception of change. Then quite often it comes through the body, it manifests. Feel the tension in the guts or in the heart. Heart's very important. That manifests and releases itself, because I've been able to stay with it as perception of change. Because I found that thinking about it wasn't all that helpful, because then I was just sort of reinforcing it, trying to get rid of it and so on. So that's where the patience comes in, to actually trust in the physical manifestation of something that'll take care of itself. So making things conscious, I think, is a very important aspect of my contemplative life, like making disappointment conscious. What does it feel like to be disappointed? Rather than, oh gosh, I'm disappointed again. Like let's say, like meditation, sometimes, a monk will feel, I've got it now. And then, I've lost it now. But both of those are just feelings. That's all they are. But obviously one feels better than the other. It feels great to think you know something. It feels, especially if you teach, and it feels terrible when you don't, But actually they're the same. One's a feeling of confidence, one's a feeling of non-confidence. And you find, the awareness of that is neither confident nor lacking in confidence. It's transcendent. But if I can remember, confidence is uncertain. It's uncertain. And when it changes and you start to feel lack of confidence, that's what it's supposed to be, your freedom. Your freedom. And so body awareness, full consciousness of what is manifesting, those things are very, very helpful. Then you're not threatened by anything. Let it come. Let it come out. Let it be conscious. Nothing can really hurt you. That's at the flow of consciousness. Don't stand out in the traffic and do that. Or you're toast. Okay? Yeah.
थोडं बूज जोर व्हायचं म्हणजे
मैं इसका हिंदी अनुवाद करता हूँ थोड़े। लुंगपुर में शुरू में तो अपना बचपन की बात बता रहे थे वो जी, क्योंकि वो कृष्णमूर्ति जी के एक थियोसॉफिकल सोसाइटी में टॉक दे रहे थे, तो उसके संदर्भ में उन्होंने अपने बचपन के अनुभव बताए थे कि कैसे उनको बचपन में ही 5 साल की उम्र में जब कभी कभी ऐसा होता था जब वो जागते थे तो अवेयरनेस जो है बहुत अलग सी तरह की होती थी, मन एकदम शांत और करुणा से भरा रहता था, लेकिन फिर वो छूट जाता था, फिर पता नहीं चलता था क्या हो रहा है। तो वो उस तरह का अनुभव वो कई बार, इससे ये हुआ कि वो जीवन में ढूंढते रहे कि मैं किस तरह से एक सुखद अनुभव में जी सकूं, अवेकन जागृत अवस्था में जी सकूं। तो इस कारण से हर जगह पे सांसारिक चीज़ों से जब उस तरह का सुख नहीं मिल पाया, उस तरह की समाधान नहीं हुआ, तो फिर वो भिक्षु बने। ये बात संक्षेप में उन्होंने कही थी कि और क्योंकि अजानचा भी उसी तरह से जागृत अवस्था की ओर ले आते थे तो वो उनको काफ़ी ठीक लगा। तो उन्होंने संक्षेप में अपना बताया कि जो भी हमारे जीवन है उसमें 2 तरह के रोल हम करते हैं। एक अजीब सा पैराडॉक्स है कॉन्शियसनेस का कि एक तरफ से तो हम कुछ काम कर रहे हैं, एक एक्टर की तरह जीवन में एक्टिंग कर रहे हैं, दूसरी तरफ से हम एक ऑब्जर्वर की तरह उसको देख भी रहे हैं। तो हम एक्टर भी हैं और ऑब्जर्वर भी हैं। तो ये एक पैराडॉक्स है जिसको ठीक से समझना है उसको। और बताया जैसे रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटीज़ होती है हमारी, लेकिन हम उन रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटीज़ को देख भी सकते हैं कि हमारी क्या। और फिर उन्होंने कई उदाहरण उस तरह के दिए किस तरह से ऐसा होता है जीवन में। तो हमको दोनों तरह की रियलिटीज़ में जीना पड़ेगा कि एक जो सोशल रियलिटी है और एक ट्रांसेंडेंट रियलिटी जो है, जो कि फॉर्मलेस रियलिटी कह सकते हैं। तो जो ट्रांसेंडेंट रियलिटी उसका मतलब है जो कि सिचुएशंस पे डिपेंडेंट ना हो, जो परिस्थिति है उसको चाहे कैसी भी परिस्थिति हो वो हमारे पास हमेशा उपलब्ध रहती है। वे जो जागृत अवस्था है जिसे अजानचा, अजान सुमेध वगैरह बार बार सती संपजन्य वो कहते हैं या प्योर कॉन्शियसनेस कहते हैं। तो उन्होंने कहा कि एक जैसे कृष्णमूर्ति जी कहते थे कि वो एक ऑर्गेनाइज्ड रिलीजन्स के और ऑर्गेनाइज्ड स्ट्रक्चर्स के खिलाफ थे। तो उनको लगता है कि अगर आप ऑर्गेनाइज्ड स्ट्रक्चर में आप ईगो के साथ जुड़ेंगे तो सचमुच में दिक्कत होगी, लेकिन अगर आप ऑर्गेनाइज्ड स्ट्रक्चर में ऐसे जुड़ते हैं कि हमारा लाइफस्टाइल ठीक रहे, मॉरल लाइफ रहे और एक बाउंड्रीज़ में रहें, तो वो काफ़ी अच्छा है। क्योंकि अगर वो नहीं होगा तो बड़ा कन्फ्यूजन हो जाता है। और जो लाइफस्टाइल में हम चीज़ें हैं जैसे जो अपने आप को अच्छा बनाने की जो हमारी टेंडेंसी रहती है वो काफ़ी प्रशंसनीय है, लेकिन वो हमारे जीवन का उद्देश्य नहीं हो सकती। क्योंकि जैसे मान लीजिए मैं अपना उद्देश्य बना लूँ कि मुझे दान जनरस बन रहा है या करुणामय बनना है, तो समय ऐसा भी आएगा जब करुणामय नहीं हो पाऊँगा तो मैं क्या करूँगा, तो मैं और नेगेटिविटी में जाऊँगा। लेकिन अगर मेरा उद्देश्य उसको देखना है, दोनों को जानना है, उसको परिस्थिति को जानना है कि कभी कंपैशन आता है, कभी नहीं आता, कभी मैं जनरस होता हूँ, कभी नहीं होता हूँ, तो हम उसको देखने का काम कर सकते हैं, उसको अवेकन्ड अवेयरनेस की तरफ जा सकते हैं। तो अवेयरनेस में इतनी क्षमता है जैसे जैसे हम साधना ज़्यादा उस बार में उस तरफ देखना शुरू करते हैं कि हम लोग फिर किसी भी परिस्थिति को हैंडल कर सकते हैं। तो अच्छी क्वालिटी बनाना वो भी महत्वपूर्ण है, लेकिन वो हमारा लक्ष्य नहीं है, वो एक साधन है। तो उदाहरण बता रहे थे जैसे कि एक बार शिकागो एयरपोर्ट पे वो फ्लाइट नहीं हुई तो 8 घंटा रुकना पड़ा, तो कुछ उनका क्योंकि पैसे नहीं होते तो कुछ खाने को नहीं सकता थे। तो जब वो चल रहे थे तो रास्ते में शॉप्स थी पिज़्ज़ा की, वो देख रहे थे मन में कि ऐसी फीलिंग जाग रही है, ऐसी इच्छा जाग रही है, लेकिन वहीं पे उसको रोक देते थे, तो वो उन पे हावी नहीं होती थी। तो उन्होंने कहा कि जो अजान सुमेध की पुस्तक है डोंट टेक योर लाइफ पर्सनली, उसके शीर्षक को बात में कह रहे थे कि वो एक शीर्षक ही अपने में पूरी शिक्षा है तो कि हम समझ सकें कि कुछ चीज़ें जो सोशल चीज़ें हैं वो तो हमें पर्सनली लेनी पड़ेंगी, जैसे पासपोर्ट है आपका तो वो पर्सनल होगा, लेकिन जो आपकी इमोशनल एस्पेक्ट है जीवन का, कभी गुस्सा आ रहा है, कभी डिप्रेशन आ रहा है, कभी नाराज़गी आ रही है, कभी राग जाग रहा है, तो उसको पर्सनली लेने की ज़रूरत नहीं, क्योंकि वो प्रकृति के एक पार्ट है। तो इसके लिए सारी साधना यही है कि हम हमारी समता सती बनी रहे, इनर विजिलेंस हमारी हमेशा बनी रहे। लेकिन उसके लिए भी एक बहुत महत्वपूर्ण बात यह है कि हम जब देखें तो हम जो चित्त में जाग रहा है उसको ना देखें, बट चित्त में जो जाग रहा है उसमें जो परिवर्तन हो रहा है उसकी ओर ध्यान दें। क्योंकि अगर हम जो जाग रहा है उसकी ओर देखें, ध्यान देंगे, तो उसमें अटक जाने का बहुत खतरा रहता है, और फिर हम उसके अंदर से अपनी विचारों के माध्यम से निकलने की कोशिश करेंगे, जो कि बिल्कुल असंभव सी बात है। तो अगर हम चेंज को, अनित्य स्वरूप को, जो भी अनुभव हो रहा है, जो भी कॉन्शियसनेस में आ रहा है, उसकी अनित्यता की ओर ध्यान देंगे, ना कि उस कंटेंट की ओर, तो हम ट्रांसेंडेंस की ओर जा सकते हैं, और धीरे धीरे उस जानने वाले की ओर ध्यान देते हैं, रादर देन क्या जाना जा रहा है उसकी ओर ध्यान दें। तो जो हमारी साधना का एम्फेसिस होना चाहिए कि जो जानने की क्षमता है, जिसे वो जानचा कहते थे या जानसुमेदु कहते हैं, बुद्धो, वो उसके ऊपर ध्यान दें कि ये हमारी जानने की क्षमता है। तो हम तुरंत अपने प्रैक्टिस के बाद जो भी अनुभव उठ रहा है, जो भी चित्त के अंदर धर्म उठ रहा है, उसको देख सकते हैं, उसके बदलाव को देख सकते हैं, तो वो हमको हावी नहीं होता, और वो एक रास्ता है ट्रांसेंडेंस का, हमको मुक्ति की ओर ले जाने का, वही एक रास्ता है। तो उन्होंने अपने उदाहरण से बताया कि किस तरह से कई सारी उनकी जो जैसे टॉक देने की बड़ी दिक्कत होती थी, घबराहट होती थी, किस तरह से उस साधना कर करके वो सारा समाप्त हो गया। और इस सारे अभ्यास के लिए उन्होंने कहा कि एक बार में जो बहुत आवश्यक है वो शांति की, कि हमें एंड्योरेंस के लिए, क्योंकि जब मन में द्वेष जागता है, गुस्सा जागता है, उसको देखते रहना, और सिर्फ उसको ना देखना बल्कि उसके चेंज की ओर ध्यान देना काफ़ी कठिन होता है। तो उसके लिए हमको एंड्योरेंस की ज़रूरत है, उसके लिए हमें प्रैक्टिस करनी पड़ती है बार बार। और जब प्रैक्टिस करते हैं तो फिर हमको मालूम पड़ता है कि जो चित्त की अच्छी क्वालिटीज़ हैं उनको इनकलकेट करना, फॉरगिवनेस को, करुणा को, मैत्रा को, उसको इनकलकेट करना भी महत्वपूर्ण हेल्पफुल है। लेकिन असली मैत्रा, असली करुणा तो चित्त की शुद्धि से जागती है, वो अपने आप होने लगती है। क्योंकि अगर हम ऐसा नहीं करेंगे तो जो हमारी डिफ़ॉल्ट कंडीशन है वो तो वही है कि प्रिय को जोड़े रखने की, और जो अप्रिय है उससे भागने की। एक और उन्होंने उदाहरण दिया हवाई जहाज़ में कि हम वही शिकागो में थे, एयरपोर्ट पे पहले ही 2-3 घंटे लेट था, फिर जब एयरपोर्ट हवाई जहाज़ के अंदर गए तो जो होस्टेस थी उसने अनाउंस कर दिया कि हमारा पायलट अभी तक नहीं आया है, पता नहीं कब आएगा। फिर कह दिया कि एसी भी नहीं चलेगा। फिर कहा कि हमें ये भी नहीं मालूम कि क्या होने वाला है। तो कहते सारे लोग वहाँ कभी मजाक भी उड़ा रहे थे, कहीं हाँ गुस्सा हो रहे थे। तो कहते मैं देखता रहा कि इस सब का क्या असर हो रहा है मन पे, और वो जो मन पे परिस्थिति जाग रही है वो कैसे बदल रही है, और वो देखते देखते कोई भी उस अप्रिय परिस्थिति का असर नहीं हुआ। तो इस तरह से जब हम बार बार साधना करते हैं कि हम जो चित्त में धर्म उठा है उसके बदलाव की ओर ध्यान देते हुए देखते रहते हैं और उससे ऊपर उठ जाते हैं, तो धीरे धीरे हमारे अनुशय क्लेश समाप्त होने लगते हैं। क्योंकि वो जो क्लेश हैं, जो हमारे विकार हैं, वो उठते हैं, ख़त्म हो जाते हैं, क्योंकि हम उसके चेंज की ओर ध्यान दे रहे हैं और उसमें अटक नहीं रहे हैं। तो उसने बाकी फिर कई सारी उसके उदाहरण दिए। प्रश्नोत्तर में जो एक महत्वपूर्ण प्रश्न था, एक श्रोता ने किया कि जो आप कह रहे हैं कि आप एक पार्टिसिपेट भी करना है सोशल लाइफ में और उसको देखते भी रहना है, वो दोनों में बैलेंस करना बड़ा मुश्किल हो जाता है। तो इसके लिए संक्षेप में उन्होंने कहा कि हाँ, बैलेंस मुश्किल है, लेकिन उसके लिए सबसे महत्वपूर्ण बात है कि हम जो भी कर रहे हैं उसके प्रति हम पीछे हमारा इंटेंशन क्या है उसको देखें। अगर हमारी सती संपजन्य बहुत स्ट्रांग है तो हमें मालूम पड़ जाएगा कि मैं अगर एक्शन करने से कतरा रहा हूँ तो क्यों कतरा रहा हूँ, क्या भय के कारण कतरा रहा हूँ, या अगर मैं एक्शन करने में की और उद्यत ज़्यादा हो रहा हूँ तो किस लिए हो रहा हूँ, कोई उसके मेरी ईगो से काम कर रहा हूँ। तो अगर हम अपनी सती संपजन्य बढ़ा के रखेंगे तो ये बैलेंस अपने आप हो जाएगा। और एक और सवाल उन्होंने किया था कि जैसे जैसे चेंज होता है तो क्या हम उसके बारे में इनर डायलॉग करते रहें कि ये राग ये जैसे वो स्कैनिंग में कहा जाता है कि ये वेदना प्रिय है अप्रिय है, या यहाँ पे नी पे दर्द हो रहा है, या यहाँ पे दर्द हो रहा है, या अभी गुस्सा उठ रहा है, या ये बढ़ रहा है। तो उन्होंने कहा कि अगर हम डायलॉग करते रहते हैं तो जो चेंज है उसकी अवेयरनेस होना बड़ा मुश्किल हो जाता है, क्योंकि अवेयरनेस ऑफ चेंज रिक्वायर साइलेंस। तो जैसे उन्होंने सब उधर कहा कि मान लीजिए आप आवाज़ सुन रहे हैं, और उन्होंने कहा कि आवाज़ को आलम्बन बनाना बड़ा महत्वपूर्ण है, क्योंकि उसे बहुत आसानी से मतलब मालूम पड़ जाता है कि अगर आवाज़ सुन रहे हैं तो ठीक है, और आपको कोई बुरी आवाज़ लग रही है तो अगर आप उसमें प्रतिक्रिया नहीं करना चाहते तो साइलेंट रहे। अगर आपको देखना है कि वो बदल रही है तो आपको साइलेंट रहना पड़ेगा। यू कैन नॉट अलाउ टू थिंक कि आवाज़ कौन सी आ रही है, किस तरह की आवाज़ आ रही है, किससे आवाज़ आ रही है। तो इसलिए चित्त को शांत रखना और उसमें इनर डायलॉग करने की आवश्यकता नहीं है। और उन्होंने बताया कि इसी तरह से वो शरीर के ऊपर भी करते हैं काम। अगर कोई बहुत ज़्यादा अप्रिय परिस्थिति है जिसका शरीर पे भी असर हो रहा है तो वो सारे शरीर को एक साथ देखते हैं, ताकि सारे शरीर में जो चेंज हो रहा है वो इकट्ठा दिखे, ना कि एक एक क्षण में जाके एक एक पार्ट में जाके ये मेरी हाथ है, ये मेरा सिर है, ये मेरा पाँव है, ये मेरा टांग है, उस तरह से करें, क्योंकि वैसा करने से चेंज का अवेयरनेस करना बड़ा मुश्किल हो जाता है। मुख्यतः यही दो बातें थी। अब ब्रह्म विहारों का अभ्यास करेंगे थोड़ी देर, 1-2 मिनट मन शांत कर लेते हैं। तो मैत्री करते हैं सबसे पहले अपने प्रति, फिर प्रियजनों के प्रति, आरक्षण करने वाले देवताओं के प्रति। अहं अवेरोहोमि अव्यापज्जोहोमि अनिगोहोमि सुखी अत्तानं परिहरामि। मम माता पितु आचार्या च ज्ञातिमित्ता च स ब्रह्मचारिणो च अविराहोऽन्तु अव्यापज्याहोऽन्तु अनिगाहोऽन्तु सुखी अत्तानं परिहरन्तु। मुखा देवता, भूमट्ठा देवता, रुखट्ठा देवता, आकाशट्ठा देवता, अवीरा होन्तु, अव्यापज्जा होन्तु, अनिगा होन्तु, सुखी अत्तानं परिहरन्तु। अब समस्त प्राणियों के प्रति बगैर किसी भेदभाव के सभी के प्रति मैत्री का भाव, जिनके प्रति कोई किसी कारण से रोष हो, नाराज़गी हो, उनको भी इनमें सब में विजुअलाइजेशन में इंक्लूड कर सकते हैं अगर संभव हो तो, और नहीं संभव हो तो फिर उपेक्षा भाव में उनको ले आएंगे। सब्बे सत्ता, सब्बे पाना, सब्बे भूता, सब्बे पुग्गला, सब्बे अत्ता भाव पर्यापन्ना, सब्बा इत्थ्यो, सब्बे पुरिसा, सब्बे अरिया, सब्बे अनरिया, सब्बे देवा, सब्बे मनुष्या, सब्बे विनिपातिका, अवीरा होन्तु, अव्यापज्जा होन्तु, अनिगा होन्तु, सुखी अत्तानं परिहरन्तु। अब करुणा ब्रह्म विहार, लाखों लोग जो बीमार हैं और लाखों लोग, लाखों परिवार जो प्रिय के बिछोह को, दुख को देख रहे हैं, उन सबके दुख को विजुअलाइज करके, और करोड़ों लोग जो घरों में बंद हैं उनके कष्ट को विजुअलाइज करके करुणा जागती है, मन में भाव जागता है कि शीघ्र अतिशीघ्र इस मुश्किल परिस्थिति का कोई हल निकल सके, सभी रोगी ठीक उपचार पा सकें, दवा पा सकें, सारे प्राणी जो कष्ट में हैं उनके कष्ट हट सकें, ऐसी शुभकामना करते हैं। और जो भी कुछ हम कर सकें अपने लेवल पे किसी का भी कष्ट दूर करने के लिए, तो वो भी करें, ऐसी हमें प्रेरणा जागे। सबीतियो विभज्जन्तु, शोको रोगो विनश्यतु, माते भवतु अन्तरायो, सुखी दीर्घायुको भवतु, सुखी दीर्घायुको भवतु, सुखी दीर्घायुको भवतु। अब कृतज्ञता ज्ञापन, आभार उन सबका धन्यवाद जो इस विषम परिस्थिति में सेवा कार्यों में जुटे हैं, अस्पतालों में, दुकानों में, सड़क पे व्यवस्था बनाए रखने में, एसेंशियल सर्विसेज बनाए रखने में, उन सब के प्रति आभार। ये सभी सुरक्षित रहें, स्वस्थ रहें, कोई बाधा ना आए उनके कार्य में, कोई भी नासमझी से उन्हें परेशान न करे। अपने पुण्यों को याद करके आए हम सब थोड़ी देर पुण्यानुसति करें और फिर अपने पुण्यों का समर्पण, पुण्यों को साझा करें उन सब के साथ। जो भी पुण्य हमने आज तक किए हैं कुछ दान का पुण्य किया है, शील पालन किया है, प्रज्ञा जगाने का अभ्यास किया है, साधना की है, शिविरों में गए हैं, शिविरों में सेवा दी है, संघ की सेवा की है, उन सब पुण्यों का संचित कर्म, संचित फल हम सभी प्राणियों के साथ साझा करते हैं। खास तौर पे उनके साथ जो इस विषम परिस्थिति में सेवा कार्यों में जुड़े हुए हैं, उन सब का मंगल हो। पुण्यस्य इदानि याना अन्यानि कथानि मे ते संच भागिनो होन्तु सत्तानन्तपमानखा। मुदिता ब्रह्म विहार, जो लोग बीमारी से निकल पाए हैं, ऐसे भी हज़ारों लोग हैं, स्वास्थ्य लाभ कर रहे हैं। उनकी प्रसन्नता में हम भी साझेदार हों, उनकी प्रसन्नता बनी रहे, स्वास्थ्य लाभ निरंतर होता रहे, और भी लोगों को शुभ कर्मों के फल के रूप में जो भी खुशी आई है, जिनको हम जानते हैं, उनके प्रति भी शुभकामनाएं उनकी प्रसन्नता में शामिल हों। और जो ये कठिन परिस्थिति के कारण वातावरण में सुधार हुआ है, पशु पक्षी प्रसन्न हैं, उनकी प्रसन्नता में भी हम शामिल हों। ये प्रसन्नता बनी रहे, सुख संपत्ति बनी रहे, कोई और उसमें विघटन ना आए, कोई परेशानी ना आए, ऐसी शुभकामनाएं करते हैं। यथा लब्धा संपत्तितो मा विगच्छन्तु। और अंत में उपेक्षा ब्रह्म विहार, सभी परिस्थितियों में चित्त हमारा कंपायमान न हो, स्थिर रहे। हम सबका, चाहे हम सुख में हैं, दुख में हैं, बीमार हैं, नहीं हैं, कमरों में, घरों में बंद हैं, या सड़क पे काम कर रहे हैं, हॉस्पिटल में काम कर रहे हैं, हम सबकी समता बनी रहे। इस परिस्थिति के प्रति द्वेष न जागे, उसको अपने कर्मों का ही फल मानते हुए तो भगवान की वाणी को याद करते हैं। कम्मस्य का कम्म दायादा कम्म योनि कम्म बंधु कम्म पटिसरण यम कम्मं करिष्यन्ति कल्याणं वा पापकं वा तस्य दायादा भविष्यन्ति। हम सबकी दृष्टि सम्यक हो, ताकि हम शुभ कर्म ही कर सकें, पाप कर्म न करें। जो लोग जाने अनजाने में गलत काम कर रहे हैं भारतवर्ष में, उन सबकी दृष्टि सम्यक हो, सबको ठीक ठीक समझ आए, परिस्थिति को यथाभूत ज्ञान दर्शनम, जैसा हो रहा है वैसा उसको ठीक से समझ पाएँ, ऐसी शुभकामनाएं करते हैं। सर्वे सत्ता सुखी होन्तु, सर्वे होन्तु च खेमिनो, सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा किञ्चित् पापमागमा, मा किञ्चित् शोकमागमा, मा किञ्चित् Chidukkamagama. Bhavatu sabba mangalam rakkantu sabba devata sabba buddhanubhavena sada sutti bhavantu me. Bhavatu sabba mangalam rakkantu sabba devata sabba dhammanubhavena sada sutti bhavantu te. Bhavatu sabba mangalam rakkantu sabba devata sabba sanghanubhavena sada sutti bhavantu te. Arahant Samma Sambuddho Bhagava Buddhang Bhagavantam Abhivantam